Hi guys, this is my recap and reaction to Sister Wives Season 19 Episode 6, and this is the big Kody versus Meri sit down, and I can't wait to see how this plays out. Robyn doesn't get her perfect Christmas this episode, and so this episode takes place around Christmas-ish 2022, and I'm so happy to report this is not a boring episode, but we do get to see how crazy fast Christine and David's relationship actually blossomed, and honestly, it's kind of my least favorite storyline of the season though. Sorry, not sorry, but let's get into it. It's snowing, and Kody says that it's his and Robyn's first Christmas not having to basically fake liking the other wives. They're having this cute family moment, and it's brief, and we move on. Christine's family is having their own celebration. Isabella gets a bobblehead, and Mykelti says it doesn't feel like Christmas because there's no chaos. It just kind of feels like a hangout. So I think that all of them kind of miss those big chaotic family Christmases in their own way. Janelle, meanwhile, is in North Carolina at Maddie's, and Meri is not with Leon, which is probably shocking to a lot of you, but she's with her friends Lisa and Amber. So where is Leon? Meri has to be with friends now? I guess I now understand how important Meri's friends are right now because they're kind of her lifeline. Meri says, "Why would I go with Kody and Robyn? We are done. It's over. I'm not going to be a third wheel." Facts. Meri says that she'd rather be somewhere where people want her, and my heart kind of is broken for Meri in this moment. This is, I guess, the evolution of Christmas for the Brown family, and so now we move on. So I'm happy to see that Aspen has a confessional here because Christine is about to have an awkward sit down with her kids, and most of them actually think she's moving way too fast with David, but they're trying their best to be supportive. Christine says that she wanted a man who was bald with tattoos, and looks like she found it. Or he found her, I'm not sure to this day. So here lies a serious inconsistency in how they met and everything, and I cannot get over it. Apparently, they say that Christine messaged him first. So David's daughter made this toast about being the one who brought them together because when she learned that Christine was single, she told her dad to make her profile. So not only would that indicate that they knew they were basically fans, it's kind of inconsistent. What really happened? What is the truth? I'm just confused, I guess. Christine and David are dating at this time in the timeline. They had a great date, and Tony gives him props for surviving raising 8 kids after his wife passed away. That's a very big accomplishment. Christine says that it just feels right. It feels different. She says, "I dated 8 guys and that's a lot." And apparently this is the past experience she needs to inform how quickly she's moving with David. Tony says that's not even double digits, and also says that David reminds him of Kody, which is probably not what Christine wants to hear here, but he says it's because he's a boomer. And says, "Bro, he's a boomer." Tony's it's Cold War and stuff. First of all, what? This is kind of an outlandish comment I did not expect. Christine is "I'm not a freaking boomer." And then they all start talking about their generation. So Meri says, "All I know is the 80s were my jam." And Kody says, "Gen X, what a great time to be alive. We were teens in the 80s, so Duran. Christine is invested either way, hard, as we know. Her kids at this point, I think a lot of them do feel like they're moving way too fast, but Christine has tunnel vision, and she's had tunnel vision ever since. Christine says that Isabel is taking her whole new relationship the hardest, and Isabel is I'm just moving slower. There's a strangeness to it. It's a little strange. And, she doesn't like the fast thing, and Peyton says, agreed. Aspen is saying some of the siblings are taking it different than others. Christine says, how do you feel about us being affectionate? Isabel almost throws up. And Peyton says, I'd rather not be in the room. Peyton is like, we're just kind of observing, and yeah, it's going really fast. So Peyton and Isabel are on the it's too fast train, and Christine is like, I wouldn't stop anyway, basically. And the kids are being just careful not to rain on her parade, and McKelty, though, is completely fine with it because her and Tony moved fast too. And this was, I remember, I think last year, Christine gave McKelty credit for being the first of her kids to accept David. Christine breaks it to her kids that they've actually dropped the L word to each other. David said it first, and at this point it'd been a month. And in the next episode, they're looking at venues for a wedding before being engaged. Christine goes on about how she felt calm with David, and their hearts were racing, and it's like they had a breath, and she realized, I loved him. Christine said it was this amazing memory, experience. She says our souls and heartbeats synced up. I mean, can we please move on to Mary and Kody here? I feel like I've heard her say that before. And, okay, so now at least we get to switch to something. Janelle is with Maddie, and they're making a puzzle. And this is Janelle's very small scene this episode. She has a very small storyline. It's about Coyote Pass. Caleb is saying if they find a property that's just great, they buy the property together. And Janelle is like, Coyote Pass, I think they've agreed on splitting it 4 ways, but Kody is so slow, and it's very frustrating because Janelle is ready to settle somewhere, and she doesn't want to be in the apartment anymore. And for some reason, instead of going back to marrying Kody, now we go back to Christine. And this is David's first scene. It's the one where he comes up to the door and Christine is like, hey, baby. And they immediately kiss. David says that Christine is aggressive, and he says that their third date was a makeout session. Did not need to know that. Like, I like that they're happy and everything, but part of me is like, is Christine just trying to like shove this in Cody's face or something? Like, what? Why? This is crazy. So, okay, now we're with Mary and Kody at Mary's house in Flagstaff. They're sitting there and it's awkward. Kody asks, are you gonna like live in Parowan now? And she says, I am now. Kody says, don't blame me if I don't love you. So he basically is saying in his confessional here that if he loves a woman, it's her fault. And if he doesn't love a woman, it's also her fault. So it just seems like very interesting to me that he thinks this. It's like he's being put in a trance or something, and this has nothing to do with him whatsoever. Kody says it's an accountability conversation. We agreed mutually that the relationship is not going to progress. Kody says, I never thought we would be here, and that he got a call from a special person from the church about abandonment. So I think Kody really does not agree with the whole reason for the release, which was abandonment, but Mary says he just doesn't like that that's true. Kody goes on a tangent about when he was 6, he learned that Sonny and Cher got divorced and it rattled him, which is a very random statement. And how could a 6-year-old care that much about Sonny and Cher? I don't know. As usual, his confessional is always weirder than his scenes. He says, that he wishes he hadn't married her. He just didn't love her much, and whatever he did wasn't enough. He says the marriage was on the rocks the entire marriage. And he says, I had such a better relationship with Christine, Janelle, and Robin. I should have gotten out 25 years ago. All things that are very hurtful to hear. And here comes the most insane line of the whole episode. He says, you don't know you're in a bad relationship until you're in a normal relationship instead of F and F, and the first word is fight. And you can just guess what the second word is. But he says it doesn't create intimacy, only O's, I'm gonna say. F and F, yes, people, this is a Kody term. Have you ever been in an F and F relationship before? Let me know in the comments. And this is immediately juxtaposed with Christine and David at dinner looking at each other lovingly in the eyes. It's a weird segue here. Christine now is saying she kind of understands what happened with Kody because I guess Kody and Robin are soulmates. And she couldn't imagine having to share David because they're soulmates too. And so she kind of gets it now or something. And so they're still moving fast with no indication of slowing down. We know they don't. Kody now is with Mary again, and he says, "You don't know me if you think I'm not a man of my own mind." Mary tells him, "We're exes, and you don't need to worry about me. You know, I just wish you knew how amazing I really am." And so Kody should have said something nice, but I don't know. He just goes on about how he doesn't want enemies, and he says, "Bon voyage." I don't know what else to say. He hopes that Mary will call him when she has something fun to share. Like, no. He's sad that there is contempt with the other wives and doesn't want that with Mary, but still basically says that he hasn't liked her in 6 years. So is there a path that is not contempt here? Not after she sees all this. I mean, he says the rudest things in his confessionals. It's crazy. Alright guys, I hope you enjoyed my recap. I'll be back with more Sister Wives content soon. Let me know what you thought of the episode in the comments. Bye guys!